Hey-ooo peeps, I trust you're having a stellar week out there. Perhaps you outsmarted an octopus in a game of wits. Quite the feat. I've still got some bigger features in the works, so keep your eyes open for those in the near future. However, I'm having too much fun and just couldn't wait to get another vid out for y'all, so consider this a wee appetizer and maybe even a bit of a sequel. Diligent viewers may remember I'm pretty partial to yellow. I did a double feature with 2 yellow Casios, an F91W variant, and a G-Shock Square pretty early on in the channel. We'll link for ya if you're curious, George. And today, I've got yet another dollop of sunshine on deck. We're gonna take a quick look at a fairly recent release from Casio. This G-Shock released in December of 2022, so less than a year ago at this point. Shockbase, and if you're not sure what that is, it's basically just a website that is a database for G-Shocks. Pretty simple name in there. Shockbase says it was part of the classic yellow collection, quote unquote. On the US website, I see more copy labeling it part of the 90s sports series. However you want to spin it, we've got a nifty series of throwback pieces. So there. I know up front this is going to be kind of like a polarizing watch. I fully admit that. Even for me, it was an acquired taste, but acquire the taste I did, so I snapped up this bad boy and I haven't regretted it since. Inquiring minds may desire the model number, so I'll throw that up on the screen for you. It's DW5610Y-9. I'll have it written in the description below as well. It is listed as sold out on the US Casio website, unfortunately. However, that being said, it seems to be readily available elsewhere, at least in August of 2023. Let's bust out our spectacles and cook, y'all. Diameter always seems a bit wonky when we're talking about our beloved squares, so we'll kind of follow Casio's lead with our measurements. We have a height of 48.9 millimeters, or lug to lug if you will, a width of 43.8 millimeters, and a thickness of 13.5 millimeters. AV lug to lug is pretty much a non-factor with these, although there are some snazzy adapters to fit nylon straps and things like that out there on G-Shocks now if you're keen. Not really my thing though. Resin or bust for yours truly. Far as the sizing goes, as with almost any square G, don't let the big numbers deter you, fellow small-wristed peeps. They tend to fit like magic. That model number situates this reference alongside various releases with differently colored bezels. I'll call your attention to this ultra funky piece in the same vein. I was tempted to do another double feature with these two, but I think I'll save the clown watch for its own vid someday. I said this was likely a polarizing watch, and perhaps that statement doesn't need unpacking, you know? Detractors still watching are probably like, Chris, this joint is hideous. And you know, maybe it is. It def throws out strong Tonka truck vibes, and against all odds, I'm here for it. What do you know? It's just a fun piece with a pretty unique color palette. I don't think Casio was too off the mark in their assessment, couching this piece in a 90s aesthetic. I can't look at it without thinking of the Game Boy Color of my 90s youth. That glorious dandelion color. I'll throw up a pic for y'all. You might wonder how this piece stacks up with the other yellows Casio pumps out, so I'll give you a side-by-side with the 5600 I covered in that early review. Hopefully the comparison gives you a sense of just how different this newer piece is. The yellow here has a distinctive orangey tint versus the fluorescent highlighter kind of yellow on the other watch. I think that helps the watch feel a little bit more palatable as a casual statement piece for peeps with maybe a little less flair. So, you know, give it a real ponder if you're on the fence for show. The hue here works well with the red and dark gray accents to create a harmonious yet bold presentation. Getting into the functions here, it's pretty basic on that front, homies. No radio receiver, no Bluetooth, no solar cell, just an old school 3229 module. Beyond the home screen with its classic info layout, you get alarm, timer, stopwatch functionality. That's it. Personally, I use the timer on the reg when I'm cooking, but obvi in 2023, fashion probably trumps function in our considerations with these. Collectors, especially those more traditionally inclined, may be happy to note that the EL backlight, or the electroluminescent backlight, is what we have here rather than the LED included on a lot of new modules and references from Casio. I kind of waffle on this quote-unquote issue. I can dig the nostalgic frisson the EL gives me. You know, I like that soft green glow. I think it was the right choice for this throwback piece. But in general, the improved brightness and longevity of the LED are things I do appreciate. I think this piece works like most squares do. I do prefer the very slightly smaller form factor of something like the 5610Y, in addition to its myriad functional upgrades. But there's something to be said for rocking a clunker for the little dab of old school razzle dazzle this watch offers. So if that suits your fancy, I think this is a piece worth your consideration. So there you are, home slices. I said this is going to be like a little quick one, but honestly, it's probably going to be about average length for my uploads. How's this one hitting ya? Could you rock it? Would it tip your drip over into chaos? Let a fella know in the comments. Always curious to hear your thoughts. Hope you're having a rad day wherever you are. Thanks for spending a bit of it with me. Take care.